we talked a few times about the substitutes bench and those younger players. Is it important to have the experienced guys to help them as much as anything, so that kind of help develop them?
I think so. I know a lot of people label criticism at me because I don't like making subs. But sometimes, you can damage a player by, putting a youngster on in a crucial moment where you're trying to hang on to 3 points. And, it could tip a kid over the edge, and you've got to get the balance right. If I think a sub's necessary, I'll make a sub. I'm not like stubborn in a way that, everyone says I don't make subs, so I'm not going to make them. But I don't see the point. I see a lot of managers make subs for no reason, and I see them pay the price, and I don't fall into that category.
Yeah, a couple of times you've talked about kind of almost jinxing it when you've got a sub ready to come on and something goes wrong.
It happens quite a lot. I mean, it happens against Rotherham in the League Cup. We had Sean ready and then they scored. But if you went down that road of superstition, you wouldn't get anything done. So that's not really the case. But I just see so many teams make subs in them, and it leads to imbalance in the team. And I've always been a firm believer that if you get your plan A right, you should stick with your plan A. And I remember when we won the league, and I think we went 15 games without making a sub, playing the same team, bar from Chappie was out one game in a car crash. And you've got to keep that. You've got to keep the other lads who aren't playing motivated, and that's, I think, one of my strengths, that I can do that in training, and I can keep them on board and on side. And then when they are needed, you've only got to look at Dave Morgan, for example. Dave Morgan wasn't in the team start of the season. He's played the last 3, played really well. And them lads have got to know that they've got to be ready when they're called upon. And that might be after 20 minutes in a game, might be after half time, might be after an hour. As was the case on Tuesday, it was the last 5 minutes of injury time. But it worked. Harry did well, and so did Joe. And that's all you can ask for.
I suppose relying on that settled 11 and having one or two coming in, coming out is a calculated risk, isn't it? But on the one hand, you could get injuries, you could get suspensions, and you could lose those players. But for those players, it must be a real sign of faith that they're going to get a run.
I know you like to use the term, this ain't my first rodeo. And experience and time tells you what way you think's right and what way isn't. And you try and do what's best for the club always. And you're never going to please everybody. I'm a Liverpool fan. I still mourn at some of the things that I'm not Liverpool.
We briefly touched after the game the other day about the start to the season, 6 points from 6 at home. How much confidence does that give? Is it a team that needs that confidence? Or I
think you always need confidence. What we've got to be mindful of is that we don't just become a home team. The quicker we can get points on the road, the better for everyone, because you're only successful if you can take points on the road. And it's a tough game Saturday. We haven't had that good a record at Crewe, so hopefully we could rectify that.
What's more representative so far of what you'll face away from home? Going to Wycombe on the opening day and obviously losing, or going to Rotherham in the League Cup when they'd made quite a lot of changes and winning?
It's 2 different games. Disappointed with the way we played against Wycombe for big periods, and mainly the way we defended. If you give yourself a platform and you give yourself a base by defending well as a team, you've got a chance. You've always got a chance in this league of scoring goals. There's a lot of defenders make a lot of mistakes, and if you can cut yours out, you can guarantee that they will happen the other end if you just be patient. A lot of goals are scored from set plays these days as well, and we have got a lot of height in that department, so we've just got to tidy ourselves up. I keep banging on about the sickness that's been going through, but the last 2 games we've gone out like a light after 60-70 minutes, and on one hand you wish you had a more in-depth squad with experienced players to see them games out and not have the lads who are struggling keep them on, but you just got to make them decisions and hope that they go right. We've got if we defend, we've got a chance, and I think the longer the season goes on, we get up to speed, we'll be a better team.
As far as the top end of the pitch is concerned, chances created wise, I think you're top 5, top 6 in the division so far. Is that a really conscious thing that you want to do? Try and create as many chances as possible, and if you convert some of those, you'll win games?
The more chances you make, inevitably you score more goals. It doesn't feel that way. You get the perception that we're missing chances, but we've always been an attacking team, and so I can't see us changing anytime soon. And that doesn't mean that you just abandon your defensive duties, but I'm a firm believer that the best way of defending is by attacking. Now, we give the ball away very cheaply during the night, and we let Doncaster have a lot of the ball. On the flip side to that, they didn't really hurt us. Our keeper hasn't made a save. We've dealt with all the balls that were put in the box. He headed and kicked it away. James Coleman took a couple of catches as well, a couple of punches. So I just think that if you carry on doing that, you're eventually going to pay the price. Someone's going to make a mistake, or they're going to get a little bit of luck. So the better way is to try and occupy them up the field. Now, we were just kicking the ball away randomly. It wasn't us, and you could see that last 20 minutes. It wasn't us, but we'll work on that and we'll get better at that.
Goal threat wise, you've talked a lot about your two forwards and Joel Mbongo on the subs bench. How pleased have you been with Pell and Butcher? Not only have they scored 3 goals between them, but adding to that attack, making those late runs, arriving on the scene.
Yeah, it's something that we've lacked for a couple of years, goals from midfield. So that is, a big juicy bonus, as they used to go. That is a bonus, but I still want my forwards to score, because I know how much that breathes the confidence in them. Dion and Coley have both had chances during the night, and if they keep getting chances, I'm convinced they'll score a goal.
And we've spoken a couple of times about your under-23 players and the inexperience there. Going to play Crewe, they've got a reputation for developing players. How hard is that? How hard is it for managers like yourself, like Dave Artell, to bring players through from being 16, 17, 18 to first team players?
It is hard, and because you're last pick on the raw materials. So it's like trying to make a good breakfast. You'd have a reputation for having a good breakfast, and you'll charge a tenner for it. And then some of the cafes can't afford that, so they'll charge £4, but the ingredients won't be as good. And the likes of Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool and Everton get the best pick of the ingredients. That doesn't mean that now and again a prime sausage or a prime bit of bacon doesn't slip through the net, and that's what we've got to hope for. And then you've got to hope that you develop them enough to either one, play them in your team, or two, sell them. Crewe were always a breeding ground, weren't they? And some really top players have come through their academy. I'm happy the way our 23s are going. There's a pathway now from our 18s, hopefully to the first team. And the 23s play Blackburn during the night, and our left back's got hat-trick. So you don't get many of them, do you? So I'm quite pleased with the way that's going.
Has that been a really conscious decision?
Yeah, it has. And people have been saying, they've signed this, they've signed that, and a lot of them have been for the 23s. And if they can supplement the first team, which a lot of them are on the bench, great. But they are definitely ones for the future. You only got to get 1 or 2 into the first team, and it's been a worthwhile project. Or sell 1 or 2.
Yeah, and on Crewe, they've got a reputation for the way they play, for the way they develop those players. Does that make it easier or more difficult to prepare, knowing what to expect? And does it make it a more enjoyable game because of the way they play? Well,
we know it is. The eye goes on the eye. There's no getting away from that. And we believe, the way we play is good and attractive to watch as well. You know the way they're going to play, and we've got to be prepared for that. And it's easier said than done stopping it, because when teams pass it, and they get it right, they can be a handful. MK Dons were always an handful, playing that way. Forest Green were always an handful, playing that way. But it doesn't mean you can't beat them. And you know, in the past we've beat teams like that. So.